Chapter 7 "Jade, stop it already," whispered Lily softly after hearing Jade scolding Darryl. Yesterday at the annual gathering, William showed off his suit, yet it was Darryl who stood up and helped Lily relieve the embarrassment.
"Lily, you're too soft-hearted. If it was me, I would have divorced him already," said Jade coldly. "After being married to him for so long, yet you both haven't consummated your marriage. I don't know how you can handle facing this piece of trash every day."
"Jade!" called out Darryl as he stared deeply at her. He could not hold it in anymore and made a step forward. It had to be said that Jade was gorgeous. She was wearing a short, tight skirt, exposing her fair legs. "My wife's company needs $5 million. Why would you assume that I couldn't help?" Darryl said with a smile. "I remember you said that if I can fork out $5 million, you'll call me daddy."
"Yes, I did say that."
Jade slowly stood up.
"Show me, then. If you can't, you'll call me your mommy, then?"
"Excuse me." Darryl sat down casually on a chair. He held up his dirty sack upside down and poured out the contents onto the table. It was at this moment the whole house was as silent as the grave. Wads of red-colored cash notes poured out like a waterfall. The sofa could not even contain them all, and many scattered on the floor.
This is...
Jade stared in amazement. She was so astonished that she could not say a single word.
"All this cash, is it really $5 million?
Samantha walked over too. Her initial anger now somewhat simmered. Lily's best friends, Jade and Phoebe, felt their legs weakened. $5 million in cash notes in front of their eyes. That kind of visual impact was indescribable. "Call me Daddy, then. I'm listening," said Darryl as he stroked his chair. Jade eventually recovered from the shock. She looked at Darryl and sneered.
"Darryl, don't think I'm not aware that Lily only gives you $200 a day. This amount here, I'm sure it's not clean, right?"
Her words made Lily's body tremble. She walked over quickly and grabbed Darryl's arm and brought him to the bedroom. After closing the door, Lily whispered to him,
"Darryl, where did that money come from? Is it from dirty sources?"
"It's clean. Don't worry about it. I borrowed it from a friend," explained Darryl after taking a deep breath. Darryl was now the president of Platinum Corporation, but he did not want to reveal his identity too early because Lily would only think he was lucky.
"Friend? Where do you even find a friend?"
said Lily as she anxiously stomped her foot.
"After being married for so long, why do I not know that you still have friends?"
Darryl felt a pain in his chest. Indeed, after being banished from his clan, all his friends avoided him like the plague. Maybe it was because his pride was hurt. Darryl turned around and walked to the door, wanting to leave. "A classmate from back then got rich after starting a business of his own, so he lent me the money. Just use it first," said Darryl. A few steps out of the room, he could hear Lily softly say,
"I'll return you this money as soon as I can."
Both her friends, Jade and Phoebe, had left. "She didn't even call me Daddy. Can't afford to play this game, it seems," Darryl mumbled to himself as he sat on the sofa and played with his phone. These few days, Donghai City did not seem to be at peace. Everyone knew that the largest entertainment company in Donghai City changed its new boss, and countless advertising agencies were seeking a partnership with them. However, this new boss was very odd. Even partners that had worked together with the company previously were rejected. All these companies did not wish to give up easily. Given that Platinum Corporation was not partnering with anyone at the moment, they could dominate this big piece of cake themselves if they were to successfully secure a partnership. Those who came to seek partnership were Donghai City's first-class families. It was not expected that the second-class Linden clan also wished to seek a partnership. It was rumored that William from the Linden clan was sent previously, but got escorted out by Platinum Corporation. Yet they did not give up and sent Lily. How shameless. Just when everyone was waiting to laugh at Lily, a piece of surprising news was announced. Platinum Corporation agreed to partner with the Linden clan. This news shocked the whole of Donghai City. Are they out of their minds? Partnering with a second-class family? Lily was pleasantly surprised. She had yet to meet Platinum Corporation's president, but the president's secretary told her that she could come in to sign a contract the next day. Oriental Pearl Hotel, Donghai City. This was the most renowned hotel in Donghai City. The average spending here per person starts from $1,000. Grandmother Linden was exceptionally happy today. She had booked the entire hotel to celebrate Lily's success and had instructed everyone in the Linden clan to attend. Not only that, but she had also invited many guests. Being able to sign a contract with Platinum Corporation was extremely great news, which you would want everybody to know. In the hotel, Lily became the crowd's center of attention as she sat at the first table. Darryl followed beside Lily. Their seats were not yet warmed when they heard a reprimand from behind them.
"Get up! Is this somewhere you belong? Give your seat to Miss Yvonne immediately."
This sentence came from William, but now there was a young and beautiful woman standing beside him. Upon seeing this woman, Samantha stood up without hesitation and said,
"Quickly, give your seat, you piece of trash!"
Samantha knew that this woman should not be messed with, for she was Grandmother Linden's guest, Yvonne Young, the youngest mistress of the Young clan. The Youngs had been in the antique business for generations. It was rumored that all of their collections in total could be sold for at least $2 billion. Yvonne was invited by Grandmother Linden. She had noticed Lily from the first sight, noting that she had on a pair of extremely beautiful high heels. Was that not the worship of crystal? Everyone knew that Yvonne loved the worship of crystal, but she did not own one. It was not that she could not afford it, but the worship of crystal was globally limited to only 99 pairs. This pair of heels was not something one could get just because they have the money. They need to have the right connections to have access to the heels.
"Move aside! Are you blind? Can't you see Miss Yvonne here?"
William shouted angrily as Darryl did not react to him. Darryl seemed like he did not hear a word as he continued to munch on some nuts.
"Are you deaf? Can't you hear what William said?"
Samantha said in fury. It would not be worth the loss if Yvonne was offended because of Darryl. Although he had lent $5 million to them, Darryl was still a piece of trash in Samantha's heart. It was just pure luck that he was acquainted with a rich classmate.
"How about you give your seat for now?"
Lily said as she looked at Darryl.
"Okay."
Darryl replied happily at Lily's request. He got up and walked toward the table behind. William chuckled and pulled the seat backward and said,
"Miss Young, please be seated. That guy is just our clan's live-in son-in-law, living for free with us, yet acting like he matters. He is just an idiot. Don't be bothered by him."
"All right," Yvonne softly answered. She sat down and gazed at the worship of crystal. It was beautiful. Perhaps any woman who wore it would have their elegance elevated a few levels.
"Miss Lily, I'd like to ask—"
Yvonne could not help herself.
"I'd like to ask, where did you purchase this pair of heels?"
Lily smiled with her heart overjoyed. Everyone knew that Yvonne was a renowned beauty in Donghai City, but now her eyes were full of envy for her. Of course Lily would be overjoyed.
"A friend gifted it to me,"
Lily replied softly.
Do you mind troubling your friend to help me purchase a pair too? Don't worry, I'm willing to pay double the price for your friend's help,"
Yvonne said. Yvonne's voice was not loud, but people seated nearby could not help but turn around to have a look. The worship of crystal was priced at $30 million. You could tell that the Young clan was very wealthy from her offering to pay double the price. Both Yvonne and Lily were amazing beauties, and having them sitting next to each other was real eye candy. Yvonne was wearing a short skirt, showing off her pair of fair and slender long legs, which attracted many men. They both have the unique qualities, winning the stares of many.
My daughter, what else could you be thinking? Quickly, call this friend of yours,
Samantha urged, as she thought how great of a chance this would be in making a connection with the young clan's young mistress. Lily bit her lips and nodded her head. She took out her cell phone and called Ashton Adagio. Chapter 8. Lily pushed the loudspeaker button. Samantha, who stood beside, started smiling upon seeing Lily's cell phone screen.
My dear daughter, so Ashton was the one that got you the worship of crystal. He's a good man. Be sure to appreciate him, my dear.
Samantha purposely said it loudly, not forgetting to glance at Darryl. Compared to Ashton, Darryl was worthless. Ashton mentioned before that if Lily were to marry him, he would be willing to pay a dowry of $20 million. On the other end of the phone, Ashton was sitting by the sidewalk. Not long ago, he had received a phone call, informing him that the Darby clan had revoked all his fundings. Ashton had a meltdown upon hearing the news. Without the Darby clan's support, he would be next to nothing. He was subsequently informed that he had offended someone he should not have. Until now, Ashton still could not figure out who he had offended.
Ashton, I want to ask you if you can get me another pair of Worship of Crystal, Lily asked over the phone.
Although Ashton had a meltdown, he forced a smile, seeing that it was Lily who called.
Lily, you're referring to the replica, right?
Replica? Lily and Yvonne exchanged looks with each other. They could not mistake an imitation for the real thing.
Yeah, didn't I give you a pair of replicas that cost $300,000? Ashton continued. But wasn't that pair thrown by your worthless husband? That pair is still sitting at my house right now. If you want it, I can get it for you.
Upon hearing those words, Lily's beautiful face was full of confusion. The worship of crystal that she was currently wearing, was it not gifted by Ashton? Other than him, who else would give her a $30 million gift? Lily ended the call and recalled the day Darryl sent her to work. He had mentioned that he was going to buy her the worship of crystal. On that thought, Lily could not help but look at Darryl. Darryl held a pair of chopsticks in his hand. While the others had not even started eating, he was about to finish his second bowl of rice. Everybody at the table with him looked at him with spite and sat as far away from him as they could. Lily laughed. What was she thinking? How could Darryl be the one who gifted her the heels? It was absolutely impossible. After half a minute, Darryl finally placed his chopsticks down. He wiped his mouth while looking at Yvonne. Yvonne was an interesting woman. Darryl noticed she wore a white bracelet on her wrist. It was obvious to everyone that this bracelet was not cheap, but how many would know that this bracelet was an antique? The Darby clan had a vast collection of antiques. Darryl was around 6 or 7 years old when he could already differentiate antiques. When the world's #1 appraiser, Master Stellan Smith, visited the clan as a guest, he had even learned how to appraise from him for 2 months. The bracelet that Yvonne had on seemed delicate and exquisite, and should be a Tang Dynasty-era handicraft. It would fetch up to $20 million worth in value in today's market.
Everyone, quiet down!
At that moment, Grandmother Linden walked onto the stage, looking extremely cheerful.
Quick, Lilybud, tell us how you negotiated with Platinum Corporation.
Grandmother Linden asked impatiently as she sat down. Lily stood up awkwardly, and after some deep thought, finally spoke.
When I reached Platinum Corporation, I didn't say a thing, nor did I even meet the president, and I was notified that I can sign the contract.
Wow! Lily's words triggered a furor among the crowd.
So Lily didn't even do anything and got the contract?
Yeah, I thought she would be capable to do so. Turns out it was just good luck.
Hearing those discussions, William stood up and stepped forward.
Granny, I got escorted out of Platinum Corporation, but today Lily got in. They must have felt that we are sincere, thus deciding to partner with us. Even if it wasn't Lily who went there today, anyone else would have been successful too.
It was obvious that William wanted a part of the credit. Grandmother Linden had always favored William, so it was no surprise when she nodded and agreed.
Lilybud, the credit for this assignment isn't yours alone. William played a part in this as well.
William was happy upon hearing what Grandmother Linden said, and gave a 90-degree bow to her.
Granny, as a son of the Linden clan, I'm willing to sacrifice. I've heard rumors that there's a new celebrity under Platinum Corporation who goes by the name of Giselle Lint. She's a beautiful woman, and I assume that Platinum Corporation would want to style her. If this task was granted to our clan, we would surely earn a lot of money. Tomorrow, I'm willing to represent the Lindens to negotiate this deal.
Great! Grandmother Linden nodded her head in praise.
Granny did not love you for naught.
Lily and Samantha exchanged looks and felt uncomfortable. This gathering was meant to celebrate Lily's success, but the limelight had been snatched by William instead. Now that the Lindens have established a partnership with Platinum Corporation, William's negotiation tomorrow would no doubt be a success. By then, the credit would be all his. Even though Lily felt unhappy with the outcome, she remained silent. After all, William was Granny's favorite.
Ha ha ha! Make sure you guys are eating well. Today's feast will be my treat.
William laughed heartily.
Waiter, come, bring the wine,
William exclaimed. A moment later, 2 waiters in cheap-how dresses brought the menu over.
Greetings, sir. This is our wine list. What would you like us to serve you?
William waved his hand. He was full of energy and excitement during such a joyous occasion.
There's no need for the list. Bring a bottle of your most expensive wine to every table. Remember, only the most expensive.
After a brief moment, a line of waiters brought the wine over. William lifted his wineglass with a huge smile.
Today we will drink until we drop. Cheers to all of you.
William's standing in the clan was at its highest at the moment. Almost everybody would want to be on his good side, and they toasted with their respective glasses. They were served rounds and rounds of food and wine. William noticed that it was getting late and drunkenly waved his hand to call out to the waiter.
Bring me the bill. I'll pay by card.
William was seated beside Yvonne. He took out his bank card in a way that he thought to be unrestrained, purposely making it louder than needed. He eyed Yvonne as he spoke. Was there anyone that did not want to impress a beauty? The crowd was in awe upon seeing William's bank card. It was an Amethyst Bank Platinum card. Those that own an Amethyst Bank card would be required to have a net worth of at least $1 million. To own a gold card, they would need to have $5 million in their account. For a platinum card holder, he would be required to have no less than $10 million. William's total net worth was roughly $30 million. As a business person, however, net worth did not equate to their bank balance, for most of their wealth would be used as investment and hardly held onto as cash. William had saved up this $10 million in cash for many years. He had only received the platinum card yesterday. Naturally, he would like to show it off a bit. Sure enough, even Yvonne Young herself could not help but to take an extra look upon the card's appearance. The Young clan's antiques were worth over $2 billion in total, but that was Yvonne's father's money after all. Although Yvonne was said to be rich and beautiful, her bank balance was not even enough to reach $10 million. If she wanted to buy the worship of crystal, she would still have to ask her father to sell 2 antiques for cash. William's face was full of amazement as he saw Yvonne taking a couple of looks at him. His heart was full of excitement. William looked at the waiter and said,
Today I'll be paying for every table except for this one.
After finishing his words, William pointed at Darryl's table.
Darryl, do you know why I'm not footing the bill for you?
William said as he stood up and looked at Darryl.
It's because you didn't offer Miss Yvonne your seat. You're too accustomed to your bullshit. How dare you sit at the front looking so worthless? You made Miss Yvonne unhappy, and I have to punish you on her behalf.
Finishing his words, he looked back at Yvonne.
Miss Yvonne, don't you worry. I'll teach him a lesson on your behalf. Every table should cost at least $10,000. Darryl would surely not be able to afford it.
Yvonne did not say a word and merely smiled lightly. The waiter took William's card away, and William continued speaking to Yvonne.
Miss Yvonne, don't worry. You like the worship of crystal, right? I have lots of friends. I'll have them make inquiries and purchase the heels for you.
Indeed, William has many friends, but they were all a pack of rogues. The thought of them being able to get their hands on a pair of the worship of crystal was a foolish dream.
"Thank you,"
said Yvonne as she gave a polite smile and gently nodded her head. At that moment, two waiters hastily walked up to William and bowed.
"We're sorry, sir. It would seem that your card has insufficient funds."
William flew into a rage.
You've got to be fucking kidding me! I have 11 million in my card, and you're telling me that I have insufficient funds?
We're sorry, sir. The total bill is 38.26 million.